Well, I think businesses recognize, I mean, you have to be very careful here because I think businesses vary. Some are family-owned, some are big corporates, some are state-owned even. And I think the critical point is though, really, if you think about sustainability, if you're a business that wants to contribute and be around for the next 100 years, well, you have to make sure the planet's around. Secondly, I think you have to make sure that your customers, your shareholders, and your employers are all happy and proud to be part and affiliated with the organization. And I think there's an overwhelming logic to being sustainable. Now, what's been difficult, of course, is in certain countries, the economic model, the development challenges are quite different. And others, yes, indeed, there are probably other stakeholder, even political groups that pull you in a different direction. But by and large, if you're very clear-headed about this, you come to realize that, really, if you're about being sustainable as a business, you're going to have to be sustainable about the planet. Business is more than ever driven by data and metrics, and we have much more evidence. It's hard to imagine, but I'm from a generation before the internet in terms of my education, but today, with the amount of information that's accessible, the amount of information that's being collected, be it the big data that we talk about, we're just learning more. Now, it's harder to process, but people are doing the analysis, and we are getting the evidence, and we're really understanding the need to be more evidence-based in our decision-makings. So part of it in the past might have been pure ignorance. I just don't know the data. I wasn't aware of the relationships. I didn't know that this could lead to that. More and more we understand there is a relationship. We are interlinked. And if you go further in your analysis, we're probably interdependent. Then knowing that and not acting on that, then that's not ignorance anymore, right? That's more about being sort of not negligent. I think most people care, businesses care. If you think about today what we have in our understanding, let's say of today about complexity and how systems work. Our knowledge now about how certain food systems and the reliance on how impact on, let's say with just climate, that we were worried about too much rain and too little rain in one area, and then now we start to understand that that would have a severe impact on the food production in those systems, right? And we also know that food, the choices that we made, that if we started to go towards a particular product that's more favorable in certain conditions because there's less rain or more, it would inevitably have an impact on the nutrition system of the people. And now we're learning, more science tells us that, yes, certain nutritional needs actually lead to actual education impacts, because we know that it can actually impact very young age, being malnourished, undernourished, or even overnourished can be very bad in terms of their cognitive development. We just have a lot more knowledge about how all these sort of systems function. We're getting a better understanding of how they impact one another. But as we do that, then we start to realize that if we take a policy that has X outcome here, the unintended consequences on Y could be severe. And it's that reality, that dealing with that complexity at one level, but at another level, understanding really human behavior. And we're just, and really the awareness on both is increasing. In fact, there's two new disciplines. There's a discipline of complexity science. Those are the systems I described. There's a whole new discipline around behavioral science, which is about how it impacts us. And then, of course, in the middle is what we understand is really how food, nutrition, general health, and wellness impacts both. It's very hard. That kind of integrated interdisciplinary mindset really, many of us who were trained were not from that, we're not from that background, but yet that's going to be what the future's about, is that interdisciplinary awareness. I think it all begins with the person. Do we care as citizens? Do we just fundamentally care about where we live, the air we breathe, the food we eat? Doesn't matter what background you're in, then you start to think about things. So I think we owe it on ourselves to challenge not just any one sector. We're all part of civil society. So we need to challenge political leaders, we need to challenge our local business leaders or even national business leaders. We need to challenge educators. We are in it together. It's a shared problem. It's going to have a shared solution.